We need to find the idol of Boreas and bring Glory and Bride back to Griffinstone. Haha, here we go. Typical pony hero complex. None of us care about that dumb old idol.
Now isn't that just better, everyone? Isn't it just so much better after a good stretch and a water break and a joke about ponies having hubris or something? I'm sorry, I just couldn't fit that into the video. I was too busy talking about ancient history. But regardless, we've all had a little time to process whatever the fish I was just talking about. So let's move on to the next section. Section 2. Or part 2. Part 2. Princesses and other tyrants. Let's go. Alright, so since we're moving beyond just like the founding of Equestria, I feel like I need to say there is no chronological timeline because Ponykind doesn't have a year system. Or at least not one shown to the audience. So instead, I'm just going to talk about stuff in the order that makes sense to me, and you just have to listen to the madman ramble. I am so sorry. Alright, so I guess I'd have to talk about these fishes eventually. Okay, class, say hello to Celestia and Luna. These two fishes are very important to equestrian history, I guess. Okay, look, the point is, Celestia and Luna were the first alicorns. What's an alicorn? Well, I'm so glad you asked, class. It's a new sub-race of pony. But what is an alicorn? Well, it's an allicorn. It's basically like all the pony types combined into one. So, these chumps became the de facto leaders of Equestria. Look at them. They have the most accessories. Okay, now before we can talk about these bozos, it's worth mentioning that we believe that before they showed up, they weren't there at the beginning. So we have to assume that, like, before they showed up, Equestria was just like a collection of city-states that all just kind of worked together and collaborated amongst each other. And that's probably why they just kind of sat there when a neighboring nation just collapsed and was overthrown by a dictator, and they just kind of stood there and watched. Isolationists! That's probably not accurate to the timeline. Comment down below if I'm stupid. So of course I'm talking about the Crystal Empire, home to the Crystal Ponies. That's right, yet another sub-race! What's different about them? They look like crystals, and they can also be Pegasi, Unicorn, and Ponies, and they also look Greek! Yeah, that's what's different about them. Anyway, so the Crystal Empire was conquered by the previously mentioned King Sombra. King Sombra, yeah. King Sombra, the sad decrepit orphan boy who was secretly a shadow pony. Another sub-race! What does it do, Cash? I don't know. A sad decrepit orphan boy who was secretly a shadow pony who one day found a magical crystal and immediately used it to kill the Empire's princess in a fit of grief, first petrifying her in the stone and then shattering the remains. Can you tell I don't care about this character? He's such a little... I don't care about King Sombra. He's an edgelord. Cut. Fun fact, this fit of grief was caused by him fearing that he would lose his one and only orphanage buddy friend girl, who he thought he was going to lose to like an exchange program or something. Look, the point is that this friend who I'm putting up on screen, I didn't read this comic, I read it on the wiki. This person is the illegitimate child of that princess he killed seconds ago. And this will not matter for thousands of years until some random Pegasus child realizes that she is the descendant of this loser, of this frickin' woman who just ate it, and will become another Schmuck. But I'm literally going to recount that story later in the video, so let's just move on, shall we? Alright, so from here, this little orphan lad, this little laddie, proceeded to enslave all of the crystal ponies and take over the empire, ruling with a dark fist and evil magical powers of malice. He ruled with fear, you could say. Anyway, Sombra just kind of ruled as a dictator until the two previously mentioned princesses showed up. Like America is sending a bunch of troops to overthrow some dictator who's getting a little too hammy. Regardless, just like all of those operations, it went horribly. They turned him into shadow and threw him into the Great North, freezing him for an undisclosed amount of time. And then the empire vanished. They just like turned around. It was gone. He put a curse on it or something. It didn't reappear for literal thousands of years. The entire place just phased out. So for all my magic fans at home, Miritlage Zalfir. That one goes to the magic fans. Now, I know you guys are just dying to know about the princess's cash. Can you tell us it? No. Because I'm about to tell you about the realest homie there ever was. Starswirl the Bearded, greatest unicorn to ever live. Oldest protector of Equestria. He existed back in time? The old time when I predicted that they colonized stuff. He got name dropped by Clover the Clever. Probably not a real pony that exists, but hey, she was written into the play, so that's all that matters. He was so cool. Everybody talks about him in the present. He was just a Mordenkainen or Merlin-esque figure. He rocked, dude. He always came in, swooped in, saved the day. He was so cool. He like banished the sirens, three equine spirits. They were these three equine spirits that spread discontent and hatred. And I'm not going to say they took the sirens from Greek mythology and changed their design and copy pasted the Wendikooks. But I'm just going to say if he banished the sirens, why couldn't he banish the Wendikooks? But he also teamed up with Scorpan of the Ashlands. Whoa. Once in a I never expected that pairing. That's whoa, and they teamed up and they beat the Lord T-Rex of the Ashlands. Whoa, until he broke out again, and he wasn't there to save them. But that's a story for another day. The point is, Starswirl, he was cool, and T-Rex was some. I should probably say T-Rex. Who T-Rex? T-Rex, this devil-looking dope. He like used some variation of the Elder Spell. He wanted to become a god, like Nicobolus. I'm just making magic references. I don't care. Okay, fine. We can talk about the prince. We can talk about these. I don't care for them. You'll see. They just don't do. Okay, let's talk about the princesses. Okay. So these are the Alicorn princesses, a pair of sisters who look nothing alike. Princess Celestia up here and Princess Luna down here. They have an unknown origin and ancestry, which is fun because they were the first Alicorns. I guess we'll never know where they came from. Even though in Season 6, Episode 1, The Crystalling Part 1, the episode shows us an ancient Crystal Empire base depicting a royal ritual that depicts an alicorn, even though the Crystal Empire's royalty weren't alicorns, because alicorns didn't exist! Gah! I'm okay. Okay, so you know how unicorns back in the old deal had to like perform a painstaking ritual to lift the sun and the moon? And it took like 40 unicorns, and it was so exhausting they collapsed after it happened. Yeah, well, good news. The two princesses can do it subconsciously. Celestia controls the sun, Luna controls the moon. I feel obligated to specify that. Otherwise, you would be confused, even though it's literally in their names. It's weird. Anyways, don't worry. I know that sounds like the unicorns no longer have to do their job, but don't worry. It's all cool. The Earth ponies still have to produce all of the food for Equestria, and Pegasi typically still control all of the weather. But like, I mean, I'm making it up to be a big thing, but like that's kind of what the roles are, and like they can like an Earth pony could still like make it on their own. They can still like do their own thing. That said, anyone else think it's kind of weird in this universe, the sun orbits the Earth, and the Earth doesn't spin on its axis. So the Pegasi literally have to manufacture seasons. That is kind of a plot point in multiple episodes. It's just kind of a funny fact about this universe. So, if you really think about it, all we really know about the sisters is that they're sisters. They somehow became alicorns by unknown means through unknown origins, and for some reason, upon seeing them, literally all of Equestria, without question, all reorganized the entire system to become a monarchy just to worship their perfect perfection as soon as they saw these beautiful angels or something. It is worth mentioning that alicorns actually age at a different rate compared to normal ponies. It's like 50 pony years to 1 alicorn year. So come present day, they're like 30 or 40 years old, like maturity-wise, because they've lived like a millennium. Admittedly, there is no, like, again, there is no timeline. Everything is just like, it was like there's a big event 1,000 years ago from the present, and we're just going to order everything before that and after that, which you'll see as this video goes on. So you can imagine the sort of power that comes from being able to lift and fall the sun and the moon the way most of us perform automatic processes that I'm considerate enough to not mention out loud, but not that it really matters because my abstraction has made you think of the real thing. I'm so sorry for making you breathe manually. I really am. Regardless, they spent most of their rule, or at least like the major events that we're told about. Yeah, they spent most of their rule just kind of policing the region of Greater Equestria. Like when the Crystal Empire fell under a dictator that we talked about earlier, they just went in without much more of a plan, displaced the dictator, and the entire empire just disappeared. Whoops. Oh yeah, also I guess they like took the elements of harmony from the Tree of Harmony to like petrify some weird bozo who's trying to conquer the continent, whose name eludes me at this moment. I don't really think he matters. I don't care for him. Let's just move on. Okay, I was so busy talking up a storm about how cool they were that I forgot to mention that they had personalities. I actually forgot that they had personalities, actually, but I guess they do. Alright, so, Princess Celestia in her youth was allegedly punkish, a jerk, and bullied her younger sister. It took her, like, a very long time to grow out of it, apparently. It was a slow transition. She eventually became more motherly. But, I don't know. Luna, on the other hand, she was stoic, very serious, very uptight about her royal position. And, I mean, I don't want to say she deserved the bullying, but oh god, she's trying to kill her sister. Consumed by her jealousy, resentment of her sister, and the literal sentient forces of darkness, according to the comics. Luna was no more, and Nightmare Moon was born. A dark alicorn who eclipsed the sun with the moon, swearing to make the night last forevermore. And she was willing to protect this investment by killing her sister. A fight between the two ensued, and Celestia, after a long and arduous fight, did the only thing that she could do to save ponykind, and made the ultimate sacrifice. She used the elements of harmony to banish her sister to the McFishing Moon, like it's Eldridge Moon. Hey guys, you remember Magic the Gathering? My personality is Magic the Gathering. Please help me. Regardless, Princess Celestia learned a valuable lesson about jealousy and the dangers therein. And so, she took to her life and took to herself and became a compassionate, kind, and a boring goddess for 1,000 years, eventually leading to part 3. Present day-ish, like when the show is actually set, we're like getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah, it's a day later. I just couldn't coerce the cameraman into continuing to film me just talking about My Little Pony. Isn't that right, Mr. Cameraman?
Please help. He won't let me leave.
We live in the same house. Alright, I just kind of want to wrap this up, to be honest. So let's talk up to the beginning of the show. This video is getting way too long for my standards. I mean, then again, I do have hour-long podcasts, and 3-hour. But anyone can just like talk into a mic and then upload it. This is just jump and cut, up and down. This is why I don't stream. Definitely nothing to do with the fact that my mommy won't let me watch Twitch. Alright, so let's catch up back with Celestia again. She's spent roughly 970 years just feeling real sorry for herself and just kind of moping around. I think. Again, no real timeline. I want to say it's 970 years. That sounds about right. But regardless, it was probably about this time that she started thinking, man, I need an apprentice to do stuff for me. Celestia is all about getting other people to do stuff for her. And I genuinely don't know if this was before or after Cadence's alicornication. So I'm just going to run through that real quick. Okay, so unlike Sombra, you see Cadence actually was a happy and undecrepit orphan. So she got adopted. Adopted by some family. I'm sure they have a last name somewhere in the back of their pocket. But the point is, they treated her like she was one of their own, and they went to Unspecified Village, a place that, I don't know, practically worshipped the concept of love. They loved love down there. Everybody cared for one another and was really nice, and Cadence just grew up here, and she was the best at it. She was so good at it. She told some thing called an enchantress that everybody actually did love her, and there was no reason to be envious. Everybody does love you here, and it's great. And with that, Cadence was enveloped in a thing of light, an aura, and whisked away to the Alicorn realm. Also, I'm going to call this thing the Alicorn realm. It's this thing that exists in the universe. It's like this little pocket dimension that just kind of exists. It's associated with the Alicorns because the characters only show up here if they're convening with an Alicorn or if they're about to become an Alicorn throughout the show. So I'm just going to call this the Alicorn. It's also worth mentioning that it's at least somewhere connected to the realm of dreams. The realm of dreams is like your actual dream, like when you sleep, like dreaming. I don't know if it's connected to the chaos dimension, which is another thing. The chaos dimension is a place. I think there's a guy who lives there, but I just can't remember his name. What was I talking about? I was talking about Cadence. Regardless, getting back on track here, she met with Celestia in the Alicorn realm, and I can only assume that Celestia watched Cadence transform into an Alicorn, at which point Celestia adopted her as her own niece. Which, imagine not being good enough to be God's adopted daughter. Oh, you're going to adopt me as your daughter? No, you're not good enough to be my daughter, but you can be my niece if you'd like. Regardless, somewhere along this path, Cadence discovered her roots to the Crystal Empire and that she was in fact related to the princess that flippin' ate dirt, however long ago that was. When was part 1? Years ago. This video is years long. Regardless, the point is that she realized her ancestry and thus achieved her title of Princess Miyamura Cadenza. At which point, she probably burst out laughing and started saying, no, that name's stupid. Just call me Cadence. Princess Cadence, that'll do fine. So during this period of time, Princess Celestia basically elected Princess Cadence as the princess, yes. Princess of Love in Equestria. A title that means nothing. By all accounts, she is just a princess without a kingdom, without a land to govern. Anyone else think it's weird that like Celestia is referred to as princess despite the fact she's like thousands of years old, like she's currently government? Wouldn't it be queen? Look, let's not question that. Let's just question the fact that why would she give a princess title to someone who has no land to govern or no purpose? I don't know. She did this twice. But let's not worry about that. Let's talk about Cadence, because during this period, she, with literally nothing to do, and just like her love of common pwn is the only thing, right? She just, for some reason, I mean, if you were a princess just like looking for work or something to occupy, your first place probably wouldn't be babysitting. I don't know. She did this. I guess she needed the money. You may be Celestia's niece, but you're still living on the street. I can't confirm that that's the reason. But regardless, she just took up the mantle of babysitting in the capital city. I forgot to mention the capital city of Equestria is called Canterlot. I'm sorry for not mentioning that earlier. It's just such a random detail. I couldn't find a place to put it anywhere in the script. So she was just babysitting around Canterlot. Where upon working there for a while and like babysitting around, she met this fine like upper middle class unicorn family of people that will probably be important later or something. Like she met this I'm gonna show an image here of some she met some trad jock by the name of Shining Armor. Look at him, he's so cute. And also someone fish. They were someone important or something. They had a name. It was like, it's related to like the vampire book thing. Her name is Bella, I think. Only real gamers notice the subtle change in lighting from last shot. Anyways, so Celestia saw Cadence just, chicaneering around and doing a good job and just thought to herself, wow, that alicorn thing that I adopted as my niece, they sure are doing a good job. I should get me one of those. But less pink. And sculpt it in my image. And so, thus, she began Celestia's School for Gifted Unicorns, showing that Celestia most certainly has a preference for unicorn kind over all other kinds of pony. Probably. Now, if you heard the name Celestia's School for Very, Very Cool Unicorns and thought that sounded suspicious, don't worry. It's no Tolarian Academy. I mean, just look at some of the famous alumni that I'll have show up in this corner of the screen. I mean, we got like famous social shut-in moon dancer, or school dropout Lyra Heartstrings, or social shut-in and school dropout Sombra. I'm sensing a pattern here. Hang on. No, I can find. Social shut-in and previously mentioned Bella. None of these people attended it when it originally came from. These are all modern people, and they suck. Look, we're talking about Sunset, okay? We're talking about Sunset Shimmer. So, Celestia's apprenticeship fell on one Sunset Shimmer. Apprentice whose design is so cool, and she's so good at magic. I mean, she's so epic, in fact, that we're just not going to question the fact that the apprentice of the sun god is named Sunset. Okay, moving on. The Sunset Shimmer actually has a god complex. The issues started when Sunset Shimmer was ignoring friendship and all other ponies around her for the sake of focusing her efforts into her girl boss grind set. But regardless, she, at some point in her studies, must have realized Celestia's intentions for her. As one day, while staring into a magical mirror hidden in some trove or something, she saw a reflection of herself as an alicorn. From that day forward, she became obsessed with the mirror, and eventually learning that it was in fact a portal to another world. And it was at this point that her relationship with Celestia truly soured. Celestia, finding her pupil in this scary, dark, forbidden, black mana eclipse of whatever the flippin' characters and star's last name is, reference section of the library. She was peeved, like really peeved. And they had a whole confrontation, something about Sunset not knowing humility and wanting to literally become God. She explicitly says crap like that just out loud, and she got on Celestia's case about not letting her achieve potential. The point is, the two had a confrontation, and Celestia decided, that's it. No, we're done. You don't have to go back to wherever we are. You can stay in Canterlot, but you're not staying here until you learn basic human understanding and humility. Guards, get this peasant out of my sight. At which point, they take her away. At which point, Celestia, after continuing to brood about, man, I can't believe I had to send two people I like in my life away from me. Came back and realized that Sunset had incapacitated the guards a while ago and escaped into the portal into another world. But that's a story, like what's on the other side of the portal, that's a story for another day. That's a whole nother topic, believe me. But the point is, let's just take a second and marvel at how this universe has two Lucifer allegories. Look at them. So cool. So after yet another, horrible, horrible tragedy befell our perfectly innocent and benign Princess Celestia, because she couldn't do a thing wrong. Yeah, she found she needed a new apprentice, because the current one was in who knows where. And so, after getting to thinking and looking over the various students in her little daycare center for gifted unicorns, she thought long and arduously. She needed someone with less hubris and more of a fear of God. And she found that in the terrified little scrunch of anxiety that is Bella. Fun fact about this one, she erupted into an uproarious tempest of wild magic during her entrance exam because there was a rainbow outside. Very cool. She also keeps a pet dragon slave named Spike. His name is Spike. But all of that aside, I actually have to confess something. Her name is actually Twilight Sparkle because it's like a chain of succession. It's like Celestia, Sunset Shimmer, Twilight Sparkle, Starlight Glimmer. It's like a day and a night sort of thing. I just want to call her Bella because that's like vaguely funny. If you think Twilight is funny, I've never seen it. My brain just cut. Well, Sunset Shimmer may have had like a bit more of like a master and apprentice, like closer relationship with Celestia, at least according to the comic that I read. I feel like Bella was a bit more of like just a student that was like really good, and Celestia knew that she had to challenge her. Regardless, one day it happened. Yes, we're finally getting to the day. You know what I'm talking about. He knows what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about, so let's get into it. You see, one day, Bella, while perusing her studies, looking at, like, mythical stuff and, like, reading folk tales or whatever, good old Appalachian studies or something, she came across a curious set of myths and discovered, through her raw power of knowledge and having absolutely no friends, a total of 0 amigos, she discovered that flippin' Nightmare Moon's banishment was temporary. And that on the 1000th summer solstice after her banishment, she would phase back into reality and return. After realizing this horrifying revelation, she quickly wrote to Celestia, telling her all about it, to which Celestia responded with a quick letter back to Bella, telling her to go outside and touch some grass. Specifically, the grass of a far-off city. Well, it's kind of just a random hick city called Ponyville. Because, oh yeah, she assigned her to help with the festivities and make some friends or something. Needless to say, Bella was concerned and scared. This is why you tell your... never mind. It's not like... Celestia is a terrible teacher anyway. So Bella, with nothing better to do, actually she could do... So with Bella, too scared to defy the direct orders of her god, went to Ponyville along with her femboy dragon slave in order to help work on the... I keep making jokes about Spike being her slave, but like if you actually... Like later in the show they have like a brother-sister sort of thing going on, but like if you just look back to the first episode, Spike is literally just a punching bag. Like she just like orders him around, like doesn't really care. Like there are moments where he just like hurts himself or gets falls down. She doesn't care at the beginning of the show. She just whatever. The point is, that tangent aside, set to check on the preparations. She tries to do it as quickly as possible to get to the library, the town library, to read about this thing and plan for whatever foul apocalypse will become. And she meets a number of people along the way. Let's see here. Okay. She meets the late orchard keeper's oldest daughter while checking on the catering, the town cloud chaser while looking at the weather situation, the town tailor while checking on decorations, the reclusive village girl who can speak to animals, every town's got one, who was doing the music because they organized a chorus of birds, and finally met the town's master of ceremonies, who was born into a Puritan family from the Rocklands, staying with the town bakers. She became acquainted with Bella after Bella found her and the entire town trespassing in her new library house for a surprise housewarming party. Pretty epic. Okay, I'm literally recounting the plot of the first episode at this point, so let's just, try to move along. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. The celebration begins, Celestia comes to officiate, and then she disappears, and then Nightmare Moon appears, and then she says, check it out, I exiled my sister to the moon. Isn't that flipping cool? That's what I call revenge. Hot diggity dog. Now, you hear y'all, listen up, because the night's gonna last forever. Look at me. I have the same villain plan as the villain of frickin' Lego Monster Hunters. And so the town goes into a panic and such, but in the chaos, Bella declares that she's gonna go on a quest to recover the elements of harmony to banish her back or something, and then is joined by the farmer, the wannabe, the stylist, the tender, and the maniac, to absolutely no pony's surprise, because these 6 are destined to meet or something. Okay, so through trials and tribulations, they make it to the abandoned castle. They find the elements. Nightmare destroys them or something. But the real elements were the friends they made along the way, but it's not a joke this time. It's for real. So the elements restore, and they exile the power of darkness from Nightmare, restoring her to her Season 1 Princess Luna design and bringing Celestia back somehow. And the day is saved, the fellowship formed, the show kicked off, and this script is 13 pages long already! Can we get this over with?
So hard to edit.
Wow, that sure was some prepubescent boyish crying, but that's besides the point, because I'm here to, this lecture's for you, and I'm here to address you, and I just have to say, if you're still here at this point, okay, give yourself a pat on the back. I have no idea how long this is going to be. It's probably going to be decently long, but give yourself a pat on the back for making it this far. And I just want to say, I made this out of just some weird passion I still have for this show. So, I don't know. I don't usually do this, but, because it's annoying when YouTubers do this, but, can you just press all of the buttons for this one? I don't know. I spent a lot more time than I usually do on videos for this one. I wrote an entire script, which, I never do. I often just don't write scripts because if I do write a script, it's never going to get done, but I did. And then this took 4 days to record for some reason. I don't know. I guess we're just bad at it. But this took 4 days to record. So I would really appreciate it if you just, I don't know, commented, shared, whatever. Just interact with it, because I feel like this has potential. And I feel I don't know, it's worth some other people seeing this agony potentially. I don't know. If you had fun, tell me down below. I don't know what to do with this place. So I'm just going to keep talking about My Little Pony till people tell me to stop. Before we end off, I'd like to just give a quick shout out to the Equestria page on Wikipedia for, kicking off this series by making me think about Equestria from a geopolitical perspective. I'd also like to give a shout out to Equestripedia for continuing this train of thought, just also delving into some of the deeper lore of Equestria. I don't know, it's a cute little pet project. And also, I appreciate it for not being blocked on school Chromebooks. Okay, so if I just want to say, if I said something that was incorrect, or I riffed on it a bit too heavily for it to be understandable, or if you just flippin' hate my guts, be sure to tell me all about it in the comments down below. Or if you enjoyed it, or tell me if it sucked, or just tell me what you want me to talk about in the sequels or whatever, because I just need any form of feedback. Please tell me what you enjoy, because you are the people who are still watching this for some reason. But as for me, that's it, and that's all. I thank you for your time, and until next time.